hours from the Tri-Cities and south. This also does include the Thumb. There's an isolated chance we could see a strong or severe thunderstorm today. The wind and hail, the primary threat. Also some heavy rain, kind of like we saw on Saturday. Highs today only lower 80s to even just upper 70s. Those upper 70s farther up north. But into tonight, we see any rain activity coming to an end, partly to mostly clear, a low of 56. And on Wednesday, another disturbance moves back in, brings more rain, especially for the southern parts of our area, at least a half of an inch of rain, a high of 74 on Wednesday, then back to 79 on Thursday. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Currently 73 degrees at MBS International Airport, 73 at WSGW.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
Yes, indeed, Westside Decorating Center at 5789 State Street in Saginaw. Newly expanded showroom and product lines for you. Everything you need for home decorating will be found at Westside Decorating Center. I'm Art Lewis. Good morning. Nice to have you with us. Later on after the 10 o'clock news, Bay County Executive Jim Barcia pays a visit. At 11 o'clock, we're going to learn about the Cream Insulation Company and your home's insulation from Greg Mott. But we're going to begin this hour talking about the state budget. We're going to do that with the Director of Fiscal Policy for the Mackinac Center. We say good morning to James Hohman. James, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art.
Thanks for being with us. So the budget is set. A lot of it has to do with one-time money received from the federal government, which disappears after this year. But there are other elements which put this budget in jeopardy from your standpoint anyway. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be really hard for states to get into fiscal trouble. We have balanced budget requirements. We have voter approval of new debt. And, you know, it should be really hard to make sure that you're in a place where you can't pay your bills. Oh, and of course, unlimited taxing authority. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
But what our lawmakers have done with the balanced budget requirement is to say pretty regularly that, okay, we can't go into debt to finance current services, but we can spend all of our revenues. And they don't have to do that. As in, like, you can spend less, you can pay down your debts, you can set money aside. And in this budget, there is absolutely no restraint being played. Not only is there no restraint, it is also based on the assumption that taxes are going to increase next year. And I don't think they're going to. So as just a matter of the tax hikes in 2015, lawmakers said, look, if the revenue's coming in strong, we're going to cut income taxes. They put a formula in the budget, and that formula began this year. And, well, we cut taxes. The income tax reduced from 4.25% to 4.05%. And of course, no one's actually recognized that because the governors refused to let that affect people's paychecks. But the governor is assuming that that's going to pop up to 4.25% next year, despite a plain language reading of the statute for this. So not only are we spending every dollar that the state has, we're spending money that the state doesn't even have.
You would, I believe anyway, you'd have to agree that there is some contest in the wording of the tax reduction. The Attorney General seems to think it's a one-time and it goes up. Others, including yourself, believe the reading says it's not. In 2015, when they put that language in, did they in any way say it's permanent, or is it a year-to-year look? In other words, next year, if revenues weren't quite the same, could it go up to 4.15 instead of 4.25? Could it go down to 3.95?
So the I mean, you can ask the legislators who put that statute into law what they intended, and they will tell you that they intended for it to be permanent. But as a matter of statutory interpretation, that doesn't matter. What matters is what they actually put into law. And this shouldn't be a he said, she said kind of thing. You can read the statute and try and figure out what it means. Now, I will grant you some of the wording of that is pretty dense, but the Attorney General is arguing that the important factor is what is the definition of what the current rate is. And for her, the current rate is always 4.25%, even though the current rate right now, as in the rate that's actually applying to policy, is 4.05%. And we try to make I can make a good argument that that's what the statute says. At some point, we hope that the courts will intervene on this, and especially do so before we've started spending the money that we were not going to have.
It would seem the word current is current. I mean, what's the rate?
Yeah.
I don't quite understand the discrepancy there.
Well, so look, I don't really want to speculate upon motives of the Attorney General and the governor, but it's been clear that they didn't want to cut the income tax.
I would speculate and say they want money.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of clear from their actions that that's the case. And so maybe there's some motivated reasoning to try to interpret this statute in ways that fits their policy preferences. But I do think that if you a disinterested observer for that statute ought to say, yeah, it's intended to be a permanent rate reduction. It should be a permanent rate reduction. And our lawmakers, even if it wasn't, our lawmakers should have never budgeted based on the assumption that this thing that's really seemed to be intended to be a permanent rate reduction was temporary. But they did so anyway, and that's a problem.
I would go back to one thing, though, because the way the statute was written, it could be done annually, couldn't it?
As in two. So
well,
I think that it's yes. The formula is supposed to be calculated on an annual basis, and the results of that calculation should ratchet the income tax rate down if sufficient conditions are met. That is, if revenue increases more than 42.5% faster than inflation, which is what they put in the statute. I know this is getting a little technical, but so yes, it should be able to ratchet the rate down further in the future.
Is it a two-way rate thing? I mean, if the revenues go down, can the rate go up? So
I'm glad that you brought that up, because Michigan used to have in statute one of those kind of formulas that if revenue was going up, then the rates go down, but if revenue goes down, then the rates go up. We had that in the 80s. It never really got implemented, but that's how people understood the rate to mean. And that uses completely different terms to describe that legislative intent. And so you can use that to compare and say, look, if legislators wanted to have an income tax trigger that goes both up and down, they would have done so, and they would have done so like they did back then. The language that they're using now is very different. We think it means that the rate goes down if sufficient conditions are met, but not back up.
Okay, hang on. I got to take a break, and we'll come back. And we're talking to James Hohman. He is Director of Fiscal Policy for the Mackinac Center about the state budget. More with James when we return. I want to talk to you about McDonald Ford on M47 in Midland, in Freeland, I should say. Now, we're talking about the state budget. How about your budget? Maybe you could use a little cash in your pocket. And maybe you've got a car lying around you're not using anymore, or one you'd like to get out from under. Well, I'm going to give you a way to do that, because McDonald Ford in Freeland is buying cars. I want you to email joe@mcdonaldford.com. joe@mcdonaldford.com. He will tell you how to take photos of your car, front, right, rear, left, interior, dashboard with mileage and title with VIN number and so forth, and send those photos to him. You will then receive an offer. And after you get the offer, you decide. Payment, is on the spot right now, includes all paperwork and lien release if necessary. So don't wait. Here's an opportunity to put cash in your pocket right now. So get a hold of Joe at McDonaldFord.com. Joe at McDonaldFord.com. Tell your friends and family, too. And remember that McDonald Ford is there for you whether you're buying or selling. McDonald Ford, 6790 Midland Road in Freeland. Devoted to helping and serving you, a great family. I've known them for much better than 40 years now. And they really are a caring group of people. And if you got a car to sell, give them an opportunity to buy it. We'll be back after these notes.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Dow aiming to start the day in the green. Meanwhile, bond yields decline as traders look ahead to tomorrow's inflation report for June and the kickoff of earnings season later this week. Microsoft confirms it's cutting more jobs on top of the 10,000 announced in January. Amazon Prime Day brought in $12 billion in sales last year, according to Adobe. Some researchers believe shoppers are spending less on summer sales this year than last. $250, according to what shoppers tell Retail Me Not, down from the $388 they projected they'd spend in 2022. And it's not just Prime Day, it's also National Slurpee Day, meaning 7-Elevens around the country are giving out free small Slurpees from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time. And that's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The WSGW online poll for you, Michigan's potential misgender law. A bill has just passed the Michigan House that could make the state the first to make it illegal to harass or intimidate someone by purposefully misgendering them. The bill states that intimidate means a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. A felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine not more than $10,000. Critics say it's a classic violation of people's rights under the First Amendment. Poll question for you. Should Michigan become the first state with a law making it illegal to harass or intimidate someone by purposefully misgendering them? Yes, no, or I'm not sure. Make your votes at WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage, find the poll box.
Your morning team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. We're talking to James Hohman, Director of Fiscal Policy for the Mackinac Center in Midland, Mackinac Center for Public Policy. James, this current state budget, it's been widely reported the state had quite a surplus because of the COVID money from the federal government, and they passed a budget and spent that money in effect. What happens next year?
A lot of the money that they use to increase the state budget is for temporary purposes, and the state did what it could to essentially say, okay, let's use this money to pay where we can for things that we would otherwise have used our tax money for. And so next year, I think they're hoping that the state's going to have more revenue to backfill what's going to be lost. So that's been kind of the case for a little while, especially in 2020. There was just a ton of money from the federal government coming in, and that was a year that the state didn't have its revenues grow as much as expected. So the state cut its portion of the budget, supplanted that with federal government money, and that money had already phased out. So this is not something that's actually new for the state budget, but I am very concerned about the state's future. I think to the extent they've supplemented that, or used federal money to otherwise spend on what they would have spent their state tax money on, there may be some cuts next year. But we'll see about that. And there's plenty of room in the state budget for cuts. It's a pork-laden budget. There's a lot of ways to save money.
You mentioned earlier the courts. Is the tax increase or tax decrease this year, the income tax rate, let's put it that way, is it likely to be challenged in court?
Yeah, eventually. I just hope that someone's able to find a way to do it before these legislators, or before the state spends the revenue that's assuming it's going to collect from this tax. That kind of matters because courts tend to be reluctant to say, "Hey, you already did the thing. We think it's illegal. You got to find a way to cut the budget." So, I mean, we'll see about that. I think a lot of taxpayers should be upset by this interpretation that the governor has. So we'll see how that plays out.
Well, who has status to bring that lawsuit? For example, is the Mackinac Center?
We will see about that. There are some people looking into it, but it's until you've got people lined up and theories and ready. I just don't know.
But you feel it needs to be done right away.
I mean, I would hope that someone brings something before the start of the fiscal year, which is in October, because once you start spending the revenue based on the assumptions that taxes are going to increase, it's a little bit tougher to put that genie back in the bottle.
So,
or the lamp, or whatever genies come from.
It seems then that the controversy surrounds whether or not the 4.05 rate, the new rate, is then interpreted as the current rate, and it would stay in place, as opposed to going back to 4.25%.
That's correct.
And the Attorney General says it's temporary. Your reading and others say, no, it's current, it's permanent. It's going to need a court, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, because as you can see from administrators, the administrators have the kind of the first duty to enforce the law as they understand it, and there is an attorney general opinion saying that you should understand it this way, and it looks like they're going to, because that's what they base the budget around, the assumptions. So, yeah, like that's where we stand right now, and until someone wants to challenge that, I think that's kind of the current policy. And I would hope that someone challenges that sooner rather than later.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. James, thanks for spending some time with us this morning and talking about it.
Thank you, Art.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye now. James Hohman, Director of Fiscal Policy at the Mackinac Center. We thank him for joining us this morning. Listen, I'm not an attorney, and I have not read the actual language involved in it, so I don't know. But according to Mackinac Center anyway, if the Attorney General's view is reversed, and if it stays 4.05% next year, there would be about $500 million that they would not have, which they've spent this year. One way or another, I think probably that needs to be clarified, and probably the only way it's going to get clarified is in a lawsuit. So, all right. Open phones from here to the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111. Toll free, 866. No, forget that. I got to go back in time. It's like automatic. It's built in. 989-752-6111 is the number to call and chat with us. You know, a 401k can be an important asset for many American retirements. You've made contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years, even decades. Its tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility can also be costly if you aren't aware of potential mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an IRS early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers, the little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today at 989-835-7203 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor of the state of Michigan.
Here comes summer. Time to hit the beach or beat the heat in the mountains.
We're taking the kids to the beach for the first time. We're so excited.
We're doing whitewater rafting this year. It looks like so much fun.
No matter the destination, MBS International Airport is ready for takeoff. With services through Delta and United Airlines, you will feel upgraded as soon as you walk through the door. Book your flight today at mbsairport.org, and we'll help you make it a summer to remember.
Warmer weather is here, and associates in eye care want you to remember to wear sunglasses with UV protection. Most of us acquire 80% of our lifetime UV exposure before 18, so it's extremely important for children to have sunglasses with UV protection. Ultraviolet rays have harmful effects on the eyes that can lead to cataracts and macular degeneration. To make an appointment with Dr. Cox, Dr. Kazmarek, or Dr. Engel at their Saginaw or Hemlock locations, call 792-8686. Associates in eye care, caring for our patients as we would want to be treated.
Choose Garber and help make better happen for great community groups like the Saginaw Choral Society. And the excellent news for you is that it never costs you a penny more because you have the Garber low price guarantee. Choral Society Project Director Bonnie Van Voorhees. How does the Saginaw Choral Society help make better happen in our community?
Singing physically does great things for you and mentally and emotionally. So I think for some people who sing with the Choral Society, it is a great comfort to be part of that. To me, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That is our mission, to build and unite a community through music.
Has Garber been able to help you fulfill that mission?
Garber has been a longtime supporter of the Choral Society, which we are ever so grateful for. Their unrestricted funds enable us to do some of these great concerts that we can perform at the temple. Without that support, more than likely we would be in in smaller venues or churches. So their support has been just greatly appreciated and enables us to really outreach the community.
Everybody knows you'll do better at Garver.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we all need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize your car insurance to save hundreds. Here's what those savings sound like in dollar bills. Here's what it sounds like in quarters. And here's what that sounds like in cryptocurrency, a thing I totally understand. 1010, I am money, cha-ching, beep boop, $sign.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturday mornings at 9 on WSGW.
The WSGW Broadcasting Studios are sponsored by the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center in Midland.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. Let's go to our phones this morning. We begin with Jeff in Saginaw. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Art. Yeah, I don't mean to bother you again, but all I need is a little nugget of information. You told me about it was a computer online site for people looking for financial assistance.
I did. Oh, yeah?
You told me that, and then I went back. I didn't write it down, and I forgot. Damn it, I got to go to the library. Yeah, what was the name of that again?
I don't know. It was a computer...
Yeah, you said it's any place online. It was for people looking for financial assistance. Like need money. We need money to buy a generator, and you said it was like.
Oh, you're talking about GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know that it'll work for you, but you can look at it anyway.
What's the history? What is that
GoFundMe?
About?
They put you put in your ID and ask people to invest. So I don't know that would solve your problem.
Oh, that's more like InventHelp kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, but that was what it was. GoFundMe.
Do you have any other ideas about?
I don't.
Where to get assistance, either government or private?
No, I told you I'd call the Community Foundation and see if there are nonprofits out there that can help.
Community Foundation.
Saginaw Community Foundation.
Yeah, we talked about Catholic charities too.
There's another one. All right. Good luck
wait a
with
minute.
it.
Like
real quick.
Ernie's going to be on Saturday.
What?
Ernie Krieger?
No.
Oh, he's not on anymore or what?
No, he is. We're never on Saturdays. Once in a while on Friday, but he was just on 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So he won't be on this week at all.
Okay.
Do you think he could help out? Like looking for maybe a rebuilt generation, something cheaper?
No, because he doesn't handle generators.
Pardon me?
He doesn't handle generators.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I'll go back to the. You said GoFundMe. That was the name of that.
But all right.
Yeah,
Good luck, Jeff.
Sorry for bothering
Gotta run.
Thanks
no
for
problem.
helping out.
All right. And we'll say hello to Carl in Saginaw. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art. By the way, we stopped by the sand sculptures and took a look at them when they were done.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun. It's worth stopping by to look at them at the corner of 46 and 47 there.
Yep, and they were fabulous.
Yeah. The guest you just had on, Mr. Hohman from the Mackinac Center, you're talking about the money we have in the Michigan budget right now. A lot of it is these federal funds that we got from COVID, and they're temporary.
Yep.
Well, it seems logical to me that you wouldn't make a tax cut permanent when you know that your budget is based on temporary funds.
Well, that law was written long before these temporary funds. The law was written in 2015.
Yeah, but just to say, no, we've got to interpret it this way, it just kind of flies in the face of,
I think
wouldn't it make more sense to look at it year by year?
Well, that's what the law does, but it doesn't.
Well,
from what I understand, and again, not a lawyer, didn't read it, but it allows for tax reduction if the state revenue increases by a certain percentage.
Yes.
But
it doesn't say permanently in that statute.
No, but it doesn't say it goes back up either.
No, but doesn't it seem more logical that you would look at it year by year instead of putting something in?
I would say this, Carl. I would say this, and this is what Mr. Hohman told me from the Mackinac Center. At one time, apparently, we had such a law that allowed up and down. This law apparently was written in such a way that it's about reduction, but doesn't address what happens if there's a shortfall.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Maybe not, but it was written that way, and that's the law. I mean, and this is where the courts are going to have to interpret it, because obviously the Attorney General looks at it one way, others look at it another way. Time for the courts to get involved.
Art, imagine your home budget.
Wait, Carl.
Where you had a year where you didn't have to fix anything in your house, and you'd say, okay, now that's my budget now for fixing my house in the future, regardless of what happens. I've set a new low for
Carl,
budgeting.
When was the last time you saw government respond the way you and I have to respond to our budget?
Well,
yes, the answer is.
Yeah, well.
You know the answer to that, don't you?
This is even less a law that only ratchets down but can never go up. Really, that makes sense? I don't get it, I guess.
Well, but then the question would be, even if the law said it could go up, does it have to? We don't know what. Then, the Attorney General says the rate's going to go back up. Well, what if that law measured against income and it didn't have to go up?
Well, then you look at the budget next year and you decide how much to spend and how much to raise or lower the income tax.
I would say spend on.
That be logical?
The logic would be don't spend more than you have. That's the logic, right?
Yes. Yes.
Government sometimes isn't very good at that.
All right. Should we tell the people in Sanford we're not going to spend the money on the new dam? Should we tell them no, we've decided that money should not be spent?
No, that money is already spent. That money's already accounted for. It's already spent. And the people that have waterfront property are going to have to pay a little piece of that too.
Well, I'm not sure that's wrong. That they don't,
that to me, and I've said this before, when it comes to that, that's like hitting somebody when they're down. They already lost a fortune on their property because of those dam failures. Now you're saying, okay, you're going to pay for it. Well, wait, we just did pay for it. I always thought that was a bit low.
When you have an accident, you pay a deductible. You don't say, well, so bad, I'm sorry you had an accident. We're just going to waive all the deductibles. Because,
actually, that's not true.
You're having a bad day, right?
That's not true. Because if you have an accident and you're not at fault, your insurance company will go after the other side for the deductible.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not paying it, are you?
Okay, but this all started with the Michigan budget. And, you talk about you want to cut the budget, but then, tell me where you want to cut the budget. Not just in general terms. Do you want to cut the state police budget? You want to start there? I mean.
No, I think what you have to do is list all of the things the state pays for in order of priority. And then you take a look at those budgets. Is there waste? You can't tell me there's no waste in government.
Yes, of course there is.
Of course there is. Well, you find that waste. So
Well,
that's where you
but
start.
People have been saying that for 100 years.
And
If you
yeah,
just
but the
found
people
that waste.
and the people we elect just create more waste. So
Well,
you know, what are you going to do? Can't win.
I'm
All
not
right,
sure I'm not sure that's the answer.
Carl, got to run. Talk
Okay,
to you
thanks,
later.
Art.
Take care. Bye bye now. All right, we'll be back. We'll get to Scott when we return.
Warmer weather is here, and associates in eye care want you to remember to wear sunglasses with UV protection. Most of us acquire 80% of our lifetime UV exposure before 18, so it's extremely important for children to have sunglasses with UV protection. Ultraviolet rays have harmful effects on the eyes that can lead to cataracts and macular degeneration. To make an appointment with Dr. Cox, Dr. Kazmarek, or Dr. Engel at their Saginaw or Hemlock locations, call 792-8686. Associates in eye care, caring for our patients as we would want to be treated.
DTE's renewable energy projects build communities. Our wind and solar projects have provided Michigan communities with thousands of jobs over the last decade, not to mention millions of dollars in additional tax revenue that funds roads, schools, and first responders. Libraries, parks, and even veteran services are supported by our renewable energy projects. So when clean energy projects thrive, our communities thrive too. DTE.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape the everyday. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The WSGW Morning Team.
We were talking about Pink, who's on a tour, and right now performing in London. She was at the Hyde Park over the weekend, and somebody threw
something,
threw a bag of ashes. Well, and Pink has been now involved in another one on the same tour. Apparently, another fan has decided to, as they say here, gift her during one of her songs. Pink was delightfully surprised to receive a gift a fan handed her while she was performing on stage, a large wheel of brie cheese.
How did he get near her?
I don't know. Where's the security?
Yeah.
Because usually security's, they're surrounding the stage.
Yeah, you would think so.
So somebody's throwing cheese all over the stage. Does that mean there was debris everywhere?
Michael, you should be ashamed. Actually, you should not. Michael, who is a purveyor of puns.
I embrace those proudly.
Yes, you should.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and Scott is with us in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Hey, morning, Art. Yeah, I kind of wanted to stick with the Democrat Party here.
Of course.
A few years ago, well, it's a good topic. A few years ago, some Democrats got together and passed a law that said if certain Americans say certain phrases or words, they will be arrested with a hate crime. Now we have a Democrat governor here in Michigan who says you will say certain phrases, or you will be charged with a hate crime. And this is just the bullying that is the Democrat Party. We see what the president did during the vaccine. Those people who wouldn't get a vaccine, he said, well, you're the cause of people's deaths. And then he took it a step further and start firing these people. And now we see how they're using the DOJ, the FBI, and all this. And so my point is, this is a nasty group of people. I mean, they won't even tell us how cocaine got into the White House, one of the most secure places in America, and they just stonewall us. And this is who they are.
I don't understand the delay there. I mean, you would think they'd be out front with that and want to be out front with that. But that's a black eye for the Secret Service. Let's start there, because they have the responsibility of securing that building.
Well, again, I don't know all the details on it, but I don't think the fault would lie on Secret Service. I think if they were able to actually do the investigation and follow it through, then we might actually figure it out. I mean, it's not too hard. You have to sign a paper to come into the White House.
Yeah, but you're also inspected.
Right, but there's only a handful of people who can be in there. I mean, it's not rocket science.
No. Yeah. Apparently, the area where it's found is part of the tour route, and those days there were lots and lots of Americans in there.
Oh, okay, yeah. The tour room is right next to the Situation Room, so either it was next to the Situation Room in a cubby, or it was now in a very, very public place.
Part of the tour route, not room. Tour route.
I think they've changed locations on this, Art. But I don't want to argue about that. I want to go back to what this governor here is doing, how they are going to force us now to join into somebody's fantasy. I heard a guy on TV here a while ago talking about, you people who believe in God, you think God listens to everybody's prayers at once? He said, you want to talk about a fantasy? So they can say that. But if a man who has a penis thinks he is a woman, I am now supposed to jump alongside of him and say, oh, hey, Sarah, how you doing today, ma'am?
Yep.
This is ridiculous. And so if they're going to force us to do that, we are no longer the United States. They are dividing us. You see, Republicans are fleeing from these blue states. And it's the Democrat policy that are making Americans flee. They are doing this. They're harboring pedophilia all over this country.
All right.
We know they are.
We got it. But
yeah,
again,
I hope we do.
The change is made when you vote. And if you can convince enough people that you're right, that's it. If you convince enough people you're right, then change is made.
Well, it goes a lot deeper than that, though.
No,
I mean, we have people working in the IRS who are deliberately attacking Republicans. We know they are. You can't deny it, and that has nothing to do with being elected. These people are foul.
All right.
That's what the Democratic Party is. They're foul.
Good enough. Thanks, Scott. Bye-bye. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll be back.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com for Backwoods Blueberries in Hemlock is sold out. But that doesn't mean you have to miss out on the fun. Visit BackwoodsBlueberries.com for upcoming events and activities for the family. Located at 16785 Eder Road in Hemlock, with you pick hours 7 days a week from mid-July to mid-August. See their Facebook and website for details. And visit RocketGrabPlus.com for more deals.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
The WSGW Morning Team.
We were talking about Pink, who's on a tour, and right now performing in London. She was at the Hyde Park over the weekend, and somebody threw
something,
threw a bag of ashes. Well, and Pink has been now involved in another one on the same tour. Apparently, another fan has decided to, as they say here, gift her during one of her songs. Pink was delightfully surprised to receive a gift a fan handed her while she was performing on stage, a large wheel of brie cheese
How did he get near her?
I don't know. Where's the security?
Yeah.
Because usually security's, they're surrounding the stage.
Yeah, you would think so.
So if somebody's throwing cheese all over the stage, does that mean there was debris everywhere?
Michael, you should be ashamed. Actually, you should not. Michael, who is a purveyor of puns.
I embrace those proudly.
Yes, you should.
Your morning team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
Back in high school, that's when I started smoking. Almost everybody in our crowd did. We'd go to parties, feel awkward, and cigarettes became an easy way to deal with that. But high school was ages ago, and I still smoke. It's not like I haven't tried to quit. I tried after college, then when I hit 30. Now, I have another big birthday coming up this year. I'd love to be done forever with smoking by then.
Most people say they want to quit smoking, but it's not easy. It usually takes several tries before you quit for good. So stop thinking you're a failure, because what you really are is just a normal human being up against a very addictive product. Visit quitterinyou.org or call 1-800-LUNG-USA for tools, tips, and support from the American Lung Association. We support the quitter in you.
Back in the day, smoking was in. Now, quitting is. So much better.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
All right, we're back with you for just a couple of minutes here up till the top of the hour. Next hour, we talk to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia. Pulled an article offline, and it talks about nasty politics is the highest in the United States since the Civil War. And both sides. And it just it seems the language has gotten more strident, and the article goes on to say, I got to find it here, that voters don't like it when politicians, it says here, voters don't like it when politicians go nasty. Worried it could lead to violence to reduce their support for those who do use it. Well, guess what? I don't buy that. I think people are responding to it, and that's part of the problem. Negative advertising is there for a reason. It works. If it didn't work, nobody would be spending money on it. It's that simple. Now, does it mean everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon because of it? No. But it changes enough minds, apparently, that politicians and those who orchestrate these campaigns continue to do it because it works. They get some kind of response from it. So, I mean, in this day and age of instant communication, social media, and all of those things, particularly with social media, I don't expect it to get any better. Anyway, we're going to take a break, top of the hour. Come back. We'll be chatting with Jim Barcia, Bay County Executive. News is next, though, here on WSGW. We'll talk to you after that.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made a stop in Lithuania, where NATO leaders are meeting for a 2-day summit to show solidarity with Ukraine. Zelensky's been pushing for his country to be allowed to join the group. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tells CBS Mornings it's too soon.
We're committed to what's called NATO's open door, to welcoming new members when they're ready for membership and when all of the allies agree to invite them in. Ukraine has made good progress in that direction, and that's going to be reflected at this summit. At the same time, the Ukrainians and others are the first to acknowledge that they have more work to do, continue to reform their military, continuing to deepen democratic reforms.
Zelensky says the absence of a timetable for Ukraine's membership is, quote, absurd. A hearing is getting underway on Capitol Hill this hour on a controversial proposed partnership between the PGA Tour and Saudi-backed Live Golf. Missouri's Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he wants to know,
is this an attempt to get rid of a competitor? I want to know exactly what the financial stakes are.
Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal.
The monarchy is taking over, apparently, this cherished, iconic American institution for the clear purpose of cleansing its public image.
Bank of America has just been ordered to pay more than $100 million to customers for double dipping on fees and withholding reward bonuses. The Office of the Comptroller of Currency says that since at least 2012, bank employees have also illegally applied for and enrolled customers in credit card accounts without their knowledge. In Vermont, storms have dumped over 2 months' worth of rain on the state, flooding out entire towns. Sharon Ruffino lives in Mount Holly.
This is the worst this has ever been, but I heard the rain, and when I came to my kitchen window, I looked out and I could see the water was way further up than it ever has gotten before.
Dangerous heat is intensifying across the Southwest. Phoenix could break an almost 50-year-old record for most consecutive days at or above 110. And the water is warming up in the South. CBS's Jim Krasula.
Ocean water off of Florida is record warm in the mid-90s. That's threatening delicate and crucial coral reefs, depriving swimmers of cooling dips, and adding to the state's already oppressive hot, humid summer weather. Forecasters are warning that many places in Florida will have a heat index of 110 later in the week.
Schools still have a way to go to bring kids up to pre-pandemic learning levels, despite billions in federal aid earmarked for that express purpose. New study finds 3rd through 8th graders need more than 4 months of extra schooling to catch up in reading and math. Dow up 110. This is CBS News.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks. And how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So sit down and build a good framework, and it starts with income.
So build your framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
That huge data breach from a few weeks ago has probably moved off your radar, but your information could still be on the dark web. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious activity, like someone using your info. If there's a problem, LifeLock's US-based identity restoration specialists will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock will help protect your identity long after this breach is forgotten. Save up to 25% your first year. Use promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Partly cloudy skies and 75 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Burchett. The matriarch and co-founder of Frankenmuth's Bavarian Inn has died. The organization announced Dorothy Zender passed away at her home in Frankenmuth on Sunday at the age of 101. Born December 1st, 1921 in Reese, Zender helped start the business with her husband, William Tiny Zender, and led the business both behind the scenes and as the face of the Bavarian Inn for 85 years. She was inducted into the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame in 2020. She's survived by her brother, Ray Hecht, her 2 children, Bill and Roxy, as well as 10 grandchildren and 25 great-grandchildren. Funeral services for Zender will be held at 11 a.m. on Friday at St. Lorenz Lutheran Church. The family will receive visitors at Cedarburg Funeral Home at Frankenmuth from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Thursday and for an hour before the funeral service Friday beginning at 9 a.m. A Flint woman is accused of stealing millions of dollars from a man in cognitive decline. Michigan News Network's Ryan Recker reports.
66-year-old Constance Roberts had a long-term relationship with a married man. The victim, who is 86 years old, showed signs of decline and is considered a vulnerable victim. Starting in 2018, Roberts is accused of draining the victim's savings accounts of $3 million and also failing to report the stolen income on her tax returns. Roberts faces up to 20 years in prison for the financial exploitation. A probability cause conference is scheduled for July 20th. Ryan Recker for the Michigan News Network.
Midland's very own Renew Physical Therapy is celebrating 10 years of improving 3,800 community members' lives. WSGW's Sammy Hutter has this report.
From post-surgical recovery to sports rehab, the clinic promotes healing, confidence, and long-term wellness. Renew has been voted as Midland's #1 physical therapy 6 years running. As a part of this celebration, there'll be 2 coffee hours for community members at 2524 Lee Wackerly Street, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and July 18th, 1 to 3. You can reach them at renew.com/Midland. Sammy Hutter, News Radio, 100.5 and 790.
WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Hi, this is Jessica. If you're looking for a high-yield checking account, it's time to open a cash reward checking at United Financial Credit Union. We'll reward you with 5% APY and reimburse your ATM fees. It's easy to get started and easy to earn rewards just by doing your normal banking activities each month. Contact us today to get started.
United Financial Credit Union, serving the Valley community.
Not a member? Why not? It's never been easier to open an account. It's time for you to check out your local friendly credit union and see how we will put you first. Visit our website or give us a call to learn more today.
Some restrictions may apply. See credit union for details. Must meet eligibility requirements. Federally insured by NCUA.
We're where you work, where you live. United Financial Credit Union, serving the Valley community.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Larry Nassar's victims are now speaking out. Sexual abuse attorney and victim advocate Sarah Klein responded to Nassar being stabbed in prison, saying the assault on Nassar brings her no peace. She says the incident forces victims to remember the abuse and trauma they suffered at the hands of Nassar and the institutions and law enforcement that protected him. Klein says she doesn't support violence as it's morally wrong, and death would be what she calls an easy out for Nassar. Sarah Klein is Nassar's first known victim. A Lansing lobbyist is riding his bike more than 2,000 miles across Michigan to support people who've just been released from prison. Michigan Legislative Consultants President Tim Ward says his ride is raising money and awareness for Chance for Life, which teaches life skills and conflict resolution.
The skills that incarcerated people learn, and then the returned citizens, the skills that they bring back into our communities are truly impressive.
Ward says those in the program have a recidivism rate of only 6%. His ride concludes in Detroit August 3rd. Madonna has postponed her Detroit concert, along with all shows scheduled as part of the North American leg of her celebration tour. She was scheduled to perform August 5th in Detroit. No new dates have announced. She was hospitalized with a bacterial infection last month. She says she's going to focus on her health and get better. WSGW News Time 10:10. I'm Mike Perchin. Now here's WNEM meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
For your Tuesday, we have a bit of an active day possible, at least during the afternoon. A cold front is on the way. Our humidity pools up ahead of that. That's going to fuel some showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours from the Tri-Cities and south. This also does include the thumb. There's an isolated chance we could see a strong or severe thunderstorm today. The wind and hail, the primary threat. Also some heavy rain, kind of like we saw on Saturday. Highs today only lower 80s to even just upper 70s. Those upper 70s farther up north. But into tonight, we see any rain activity coming to an end, partly to mostly clear, a low of 56. And on Wednesday, another disturbance moves back in, brings more rain, especially for the southern parts of our area, at least a half of an inch of rain, a high of 74 on Wednesday, then back to 79 on Thursday. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Currently, under cloudy skies, we have 76 degrees at MBS International Airport, 77 at WSGW.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
That's right. Westside Decorating Center, our sponsor, and they are located at 5789 State Street in Saginaw. Everything for home decorating will be found at Westside Decorating Center. And we are pleased to welcome back to the program the Bay County Executive. We say good morning to Jim Barcia. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, Art, and thank you again for having me on the program again. It's always a great opportunity to chat with you and share information with your listening audience about what we're up to in Bay County.
And so let's start there. What are you up to? What's happening in Bay County these days that's different from what's happened in the past?
Well, we are, of course, moving forward slowly but deliberately on several projects. I think the last time I was a guest, Art, we talked a little bit about the new animal shelter and also the new health department. And then also, the possibility, which I'll talk to a little more extensively later, about the possibility of replacing our community pool, which the board voted to close because it was so dilapidated, 49 years old, an outdoor pool, and the walls were starting to collapse. And so we got some determinations that it was really not feasible to repair it. So, but we're working, putting the processes in place for bids and things as we move forward. Excited about also the voters' approval of overwhelming approval of an animal services and adoption center millage that will allow us to build a new animal shelter out at probably the current site near the Bay County Fairgrounds on that property out there. And it's a wonderful site because we have volunteers that can come in and walk our dogs and help them get relaxed and get fresh air and sunshine, makes them more adaptable, and we have plenty of space out there for that. And so we're moving forward, and then we won't have a new health department, but we've narrowed down to 2 sites. The possibility of we have $11 million, $2 million from community project funding from Congressman Dan Kildee toward our health department, and $9 million of our ART money, which the board allocated toward the new health department. It will be an existing building, but nonetheless, it'll be new and renovated, so it'll appear very new whichever site is selected.
Does that take care of all your ARPA money?
It does, yeah. We pretty much it's possible on the depending on which site is selected on the health department, there could be a balance left over that could help us fund some other projects.
All right,
depending on which building is selected.
let's talk about these for a couple of minutes here. Let's talk about the pool project. Assuming that your desire is to build a new community pool, how do you go about it, and how long will it take?
Well, that's an issue. We're working with several of the leaders that came forward from the community that expressed their ardent, support for construction of a new pool to replace the pool that opened way back in 1972. And as I mentioned, Art, it's a large pool. To replace that would be probably about $5 to $6 million in today's cost. However, we've talked with folks, and in order for us to host tournaments, we could do that, as well as all the recreational swimming opportunities and public swimming classes. We could replace the current pool with a 6-lane 50-meter for competitive swimming pool, just without the high dive diving board section of the end of the pool in the deep end, and then there's another little offshoot for very young swimmers that was quite shallow. If we kind of downsized it, we could, I think the amount of money that we've estimated, talking to some of the experts, would be we could replace a very functional pool for about $3 million.
Right.
We've asked Congressman Kildee for another $1 million for infrastructure and community project funding, federal funding for possibly could be spent on the community center. So that could include a new locker rooms for the men and women and boys and girls, as well as infrastructure around the pool for parents or pavilions or maybe some other recreational opportunities. But
Jim, let me
dress that area up.
Yeah, let me ask about the current pool. Are they saying then it is beyond repair? In other words, you couldn't go in and simply rehab the current pool?
Yes. We've had some experts come in and look at it, and they've determined that basically would have to be removed. The board did approve $40,000 for a study, and that will an appraisal of what it would take, to replace, depending on the size, and then also the feasibility, perhaps, of repairing it. I think what we heard was putting actually steel walls inside the existing walls, and then a liner. However, that would only have a lifetime of about 10 to 12 years, and I'm not sure the expense would justify that for such a short-term extension for a community pool. However, this assessment also will reach out to the public to determine, what their thoughts are. Should we have a pool? Is it something that is desirable for this area? We're close to the Saginaw Bay and a lot of waterfront activities. Public swimming lessons are, critical. And we hope that this summer that all of that will continue, because we've appropriated a substantial amount of money to Essex Southampton School District, and their pool is going to be open for recreational swimming this summer, as well as classes on public swimming. And so to try to fill the stopgap here this summer and possibly next summer, we'll hopefully maintain that relationship. Some of our other competitive swimmers that like to practice during the summer have forged their own contract and relationship with Garber High School. Excuse me, not Garber, John Glenn High School. I mentioned Garber, but that would be John Glenn of the Bangor Township Schools. And so hopefully this summer, people that will have an opportunity to continue to swim, and whether it's recreationally or competitively or taking swimming classes. But the $40,000 will give us a great overview of what we might need to do. And also, we don't have a lot of money, so be reaching out to the public for grants to try to fund that acquisition of the new pool.
One more question on this before I have to take a break. Is this something that you can go to the public for a millage, or is this not one of those items?
Potentially you could. Yeah, it would be a very small millage if that was decided. That would be up to the board to place on the ballot. And it could potentially be, 1 mil for, maybe 2 years. The issue would be whether all of Bay County would feel, supportive of a pool that would be serving the population based in the southern portion of the county. If we went with a recreational millage, we might seek the advice of some of the northern Bay County leaders to see if there's a, recreational, whether it be pickleball or some other popular activity there that would be, desirable to fund for northern Bay County.
Yeah. All right, hang on. I got to take a break. We're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia. We will be back with more after these notes.
Summer. Warm, sunny days, backyard barbecues, lawn care, and allergies. Oh, and don't forget hot, sleepless summer nights. Don't let allergies and scorching heat ruin your summer. Get relief in the comfort of your home with a new central air system equipped with a whole house air filtration installed by Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Our line of American Standard air conditioners and heat pumps are built with the latest technology, delivering exceptional performance. They efficiently regulate the temperature of your home, providing a refreshing oasis from the heat outdoors. By having a system designed specifically for your home, you can count on Reamer to deliver year-round comfort and savings. Take advantage of several home energy efficiency upgrade tax credits and rebates offered to homeowners. Call today for an estimate or visit our website to schedule a consultation. Take the step to a cooler, cozier, and more efficient home. Reamer Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, keeping clients comfortable through all seasons since 1957. You can trust Reamer for professional work with quality products. Financing available.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. That's dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Dow jumping more than 100 points in early trading. Salesforce, one of the big winners on the Dow. Shares jumping after the customer relationship management software company announced it'll raise prices by 9%. The price increases, which are the first in 7 years, are across Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Industries, and Tableau, and will go into effect in August. Researchers say Americans have less to spend this Amazon Prime Day than last, which brought in about $12 billion, according to Adobe. The e-tail giant saying the strategy:
it's how do we get more deals? You'll see 50% off top-selling toys, 50% off top-selling TVs, up to 75% off top-selling kind of Amazon devices. Like, it's tremendous value that we're able to provide.
John Felton of Amazon speaking to Fox Business. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this.
Mom, we are so high up.
Hold my hand?
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The WSGW Morning Team.
We were talking about Pink, who's on a tour, and right now performing in London. She was at the Hyde Park over the weekend, and somebody threw a bag of ashes. Well, and Pink has been now involved in another one on the same tour. Apparently, another fan has decided to, as they say here, gift her during one of her songs. Pink was delightfully surprised to receive a gift a fan handed her while she was performing on stage, a large wheel of brie cheese.
How did he get near her?
I don't know. Where's the security?
Yeah.
Because usually security's, they're surrounding the stage.
Yeah, you would think so.
So somebody's throwing cheese all over the stage. Does that mean there was debris everywhere?
Michael, you should be ashamed. Actually, you should not. Michael, who is a purveyor of puns.
I embrace those proudly.
Yes, you should.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show for this Tuesday morning, and we're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia. Jim, just to stay on the recreation just for a few more minutes here, I noticed on the Bay County site that you're in the midst of a Bay County 5-year recreation plan survey. What are you asking the public to do?
Well, each township that participates, and there is a small fee involved, we prepare a 5-year recreation plan, and that makes each unit of government in Bay County that is part of this 5-year recreation plan eligible for recreation grants from, for example, Eagle, the Department of Natural Resources, as well as federal grants. So as we move forward, we, of course, that's something that's required of every county across the state, all 83 counties, and done for 5-year periods of time, and it gives the state an idea of what the local governments are planning in the way of recreation, and then also it makes us eligible for state and federal grants to help pay for some of that. For example, we're looking at the property out that used to be the Bay City State Park driving range to put a dog park in there. There's been a demand among the people who use the state park and residents of Bangor Township to have a dog park on this side, on the west side of the river. The dog park we have out at the animal shelter at the fairgrounds is very popular and used regularly, and is something the residents enjoy to get out and exercise their dogs. And then, so we're looking at also, a second dog park somewhere in the on the property there that was purchased with a NOAA grant some years ago prior to my election as county executive. However, we would have to use natural materials to build it, so primarily wood and perhaps some mud or clay courts and things like that, because it's supposed to, under the conditions of the federal grant, it's supposed to be kept in a wild state and also prioritized for recreation.
And the public can participate in the survey by going to www.baycountyparkssurvey.com. How long do they have?
Several months.
Okay.
We won't be concluding that until the late fall.
All right, let's go back to the health department. You talked about that earlier. What's the timeline on that?
Well, depending on which of the buildings that we would like to renovate, one could be done very quickly, another one take a little more extensive renovation. but we're looking at hopefully, in my view, depending on when the bids go out, hopefully by the end of the year or mid 2024, I would hope we'd be open at that site. And of course, we would partner with a couple of other, possibly, I'm really not at liberty to mention who would be moving in, but some substantial organizations would come in and offer additional human services to the residents of Bay County. Sort of, we'd have like a one-stop shop kind of for several entities, including we may have be coordinating out of our health department the funding that we received as a result of our opioid litigation, the racketeering and organized crime lawsuit that I initiated and Bay County filed in the federal courts in Ohio against Big Pharma. And we've received we've got several settlements that will help us, a substantial amount of money that will help us try to prevent and remediate and treat those who become addicted to substances, particularly drugs, opioids, fentanyl, and the other hard drugs. And so that is welcome news. We've received about $700,000 so far. None has been expended. And we're seeking input from experts and also the community at large in terms of what would be the best way to expend those funds to have the maximum impact on reducing the misery and agony that is sometimes and almost always caused by substance abuse.
Where's the health department? Where's the health department located now, and why the need to move?
Yeah, it's adjacent to the Bay County court system, and it's housed in a building that was built in, I think, 1949. So it's quite an old structure, but as the Michigan Supreme Court has added more and more responsibilities and employee positions, for example, the Michigan Indigent Defense Council attorneys, other staff, parole and probation, the courts continue to expand and is squeezing the health department space. So it's something that would be serve our residents very well for the next 30, the next 3 decades probably, if we use some of the ARP money and one of the Congressman Kildee got us to renovate an existing structure that would be like new and serve our needs and house more than just our health department, but a couple of other state agencies or two and some other office space there that would be rented that would help us defray the operational costs of that site.
How much of the money needed do you have on hand? You have Kildee's money. What else?
Oh, $9 million of our ARP money. So
okay.
So $11 million should be sufficient, and hopefully we'll have a little bit left over that can be returned and used in another way to help one of our community projects or something here in the county government.
When do you expect to determine the proper site?
That's going to probably be determined in the next 3 weeks.
All right, hang on. We'll take a break. Come back. We're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia, and we will return with more after these notes.
Hey, Saginaw, it's Mike Stoddard from Westside Decorating Center. With the weather warming up, it's the perfect time to tackle those outdoor paint projects. Whether it's your deck, shed, fence, house, or patio, we've got you covered. We have a wide range of paints and stains specifically designed for your exterior projects. Call or text us at 989-793-6182. And don't forget to visit our website at westsidedecoratingcenter.com for inspiration and expert advice. Let us be your partner in transforming your outdoor space. Get started today with Westside Decorating Center.
Choose Garber and help make better happen for great community groups like the Saginaw Choral Society. And the excellent news for you, that never cost you a penny more because you have the Garber low price guarantee. Choral Society Project Director Bonnie Van Voorhees. The Choral Society is maybe best known for its big productions like the Christmas and Broadway shows, but on your website there are all kinds of unique and fun events like the upcoming museum series and one event in particular, Beer Choir. Tell us about Beer Choir.
It's a great little event that we do, and next year we'll be doing it probably every other month or so, and we go to
different local pubs or breweries or whatever in the community, I think. And basically you come, you sing, you drink, you have a good time, you have fun. You don't have to drink beer, you can drink soda. We give them a songbook, and then they just sing and have a good time for 2 hours.
Well, a big thank you from Garber to the Choral Society for making better happen in such fun ways.
Garber has been a long-term supporter of the Choral Society for many years, and they usually sponsor the entire season, so that is great.
Everybody knows you'll do better at Garber.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
It's summer, and we are officially ready to rock at Shamrock Dairy Bar in Bay City. Shamrock Dairy Bar has everything all ice cream lovers are looking for. 5 different types of sundaes, hand-dipped and soft-serve ice cream, floats, shakes, and more. On top of all those delicious favorites, we are excited to introduce the first Shamrock signature item on our menu. It's our Shamrock Sundae. So come satisfy that sweet tooth at Shamrock Dairy Bar in Bay City, located next to Ideal Party Store on Johnson Street.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The WSGW online poll for you, Michigan's potential misgender law. A bill has just passed the Michigan House that could make the state the first to make it illegal to harass or intimidate someone by purposefully misgendering them. The bill states that intimidate means a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. A felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine not more than $10,000. Critics say it's a classic violation of people's rights under the First Amendment. Poll question for you. Should Michigan become the first state with a law making it illegal to harass or intimidate someone by purposefully misgendering them? Yes, no, or I'm not sure. Make your votes at WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage, find the poll box.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia. Jim, I want to talk for a minute. We don't talk very much about this. The Bay County Arena. When it was built, it was hoped it would be self-sufficient. How is it doing?
Well, it wasn't for the longest time, Art. You know, the Civic Arena opened in 1998 with 20-year bonds that were issued. $975,000 per year had to be paid back by the county general fund to pay off the construction costs and the equipment for the Civic Arena at that time. And The bonds were paid off in 2018. We did look at the numbers, and some years it would run $200,000-$300,000 in the red. And I determined that when I became county executive, we should utilize whatever processes we could to try to reduce that annual red ink. And so this year we've made significant progress. This year we could operate the Civic Arena for about a $30,000 loss.
Oh, wow.
Now keep in mind that our electric bills are about $20,000 a month that we pay to Bay City Electric for, air conditioning the huge Civic Arena, as well as maintaining the ice on the 2 Olympic-sized sheets of ice that make it attractive for having tournaments. And so we've tried to reach out for hosting birthday parties and skate parties, and basically keep utilizing the Civic Arena on a daily basis and reaching out to more people to use it to get the revenue up, and also to make sure that for example, this year we used $1 million of our ARP money to replace the compressor. The cost is about $1 million. This has not arrived yet, but it is ordered. And every 20 years or so, that infrastructure needs to be maintained, and so this was a year that we had to undertake that major expense. However, I remember Dylan Larkin was in Bay City. I'd never been a huge supporter of the Civic Arena. I thought it was a very expensive form of recreation, and wondered, whether or not the county had a role in that type of recreation. However, we have a number of hockey teams and youthful skaters, as well as adult skaters, and different skating clubs that like to go out and use it. And so we're getting to the point where it's almost break even, but it is still a good thing to have. It is another recreational outlet for our residents and people throughout the region that come and compete in our tournaments. Dylan Larkin was the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, and he came up, and he attended Waterford High School, Art, and was on the skating team there and the hockey team. And he loved the Civic Arena in Bay County and bragged about how he used to love the double sheet of ice and come up and practice and compete here during his high school years. And so he presented us with a nice check for toward the operation of the Civic Arena, and also said down the line, of course, we went through COVID, but he did say, and that was prior to COVID, he did say the Red Wings might like to do some exhibition games out here to kind of draw attention to the Civic Arena. Mm-hmm. And remember, there was Jerry Samalski from Bay Landscaping, was a close personal friend of Terry McDermott's. And in the 90s, it was a major push to, establish a Civic Arena and skating as an option for hockey and recreational skaters in Bay County. And we're chugging along. We've got the red ink down to a manageable number, and going forward, and more people are enjoying the Civic Arena.
And that really, when you think about it, if you say 30,000 in the red from 300,000, that's a big change. Many communities around the country, most civic buildings like that don't come out on the positive side, do they?
No, generally not. As I mentioned, Art, it's an expensive form of recreation. The equipment as well as the ice time can be pricey, and so it's a limited number of people. We have a lot of passionate skaters in the community and throughout Bay County and the region. However, it is one of the pricier forms of recreation, as opposed to pickleball or basketball. And, we have a lot of recreational opportunities at the community center. We invested $25,000 in the pickleball courts at Carroll Park, and also, operate a number of, we assist with the softball league and their association, and try to support as much recreational activity as we can. One of the areas of recreation that's really taken off, of course, is turf sports, both lacrosse and soccer. And I know Barcia has about 4,000, I think, young people participating in the soccer tournaments throughout the summer and into the fall. So, hopefully, as we look at retaining population, we want to have Bay County have as many amenities as we can, as long as it's affordable and respectful to the taxpayers and stuff that are also, I just mentioned, the team we have out at the Bay County Golf Course has been doing a great job. We didn't have an adequate irrigation system in 2016, and I indicated to the leagues then that if instead of borrowing money out of the golf course funds, because the only funds that go into the golf course that's not taxpayer subsidized is the golfers' fees and those folks who go out and golf at the Bay County Golf Course. And so we have a 33 million gallon pond that was created by selling clay to encapsulate the contaminated soil at the decommissioning of the Carn-Weddock complex in Hampton Township, short distance away. We got $105,000 for the clay, which went into a capital fund for equipment. And we've upgraded our equipment, and our fairways and our greens are being irrigated nightly for about 7 hours. And I'm not a great golfer myself, but the golfers I talk to and I get out there quite regularly are very pleased and say that the condition of the course is the best that they remember it since they've been golfing there.
All right, and hang on for one more segment. We're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barcia. More ahead on the Art Lewis Show.
100 grand makes for a sizzling summer of cash at Saguenay Eagles Landing. Each week, lucky winners every hour play for red-hot prizes up to $100,000 cash. Blaze in to win every Saturday and Sunday in July from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., excluding July 30th. It's sizzling summer of cash only at Saguenay Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saguenay-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information.
hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right, a few minutes left here with Bay County Executive Jim Barcia talking about Bay County and things happening in Bay County. One of the things we touch on this occasionally, we hear about it, but the name has changed. We used to worry about gypsy moths. Now they're called spongy moths, and there's ash borers. And you're fortunate in Bay County. You actually have a millage to address that, don't you?
We do. At one time there were only 4 counties, and I'm not sure if any other counties since that time have approved, millage elections for control of mosquitoes. But it works pretty well here in Bay County. Our mosquito control team contracts with aviators who drop pellets early in the spring in the real wet portions of Bay County. And then also spray, although we're very careful, the mosquito control staff is very careful not to spray on the property or near the roads and the property endings where people choose not to have that spray. There are some of our residents that would just soon not deal with the mosquito spray, although, that's their choice. But we're very careful. We have the technology as we're going down the road, to spray those that desire the protection and to stop the spraying on those properties where people have some concerns about mosquito spray. But it's very effective, and it has, helped, I think, a lot more people enjoy the outdoors, whether it's for a graduation party or whatever their outdoor activities are here in Bay County to, get some, respite from constant mosquito bites. Because it has been, it was a wet spring, and then we had the drought, and now we're getting some more rain again. But hopefully for the farmers, they'll be, hopefully getting some regular rain here at some point.
Agriculture is important to Bay County, isn't it?
Yes, it sure is. And we're proud home of Michigan Sugar, which is, I think, the fourth largest in North America, farmer-owned or, a cooperative that processes sugar. So it's a huge part of our economy and the region, all the farmers and agriculturalists who produce the beets, and then of course all the product that's produced here goes all over the country and the world.
Jim, with the decommissioning of the Carnwadoc facility, how long before that land is redeveloped, do you think?
Well, I know that Consumers Energy is committed to trying to maintain a presence there. I can't speak for them, but they have been holding regular meetings with community leaders, the city and the townships and all of us at the county level, as well as our chamber and economic development folks to determine what the best use of that site will be going forward. There will be some infrastructure left there that will I think, last through 2025 or a little beyond. But most of the complex has been reduced to rubble and is now being encapsulated. Some suggestions have been perhaps a solar farm or some type of, other recreational opportunities. But our interest in the county, and I think that Hampton Township would be to, if possible, to keep that land on the tax rolls. Because as we've discussed before, Art, about a little over 25% of our land mass in Bay County cannot be taxed or developed because it's, it's subject to environmental regulation, whether it's wetlands or whether it's land that has been purchased by the Nature Conservancy or state and federal government to be public land. And so we've got quite a bit of land mass in Bay County that is not generating revenue and taxes to help defray the cost of the services we provide to our residents. So hopefully the Carnwadoc site, it was there for about 100 years producing electricity. So It's been part of our community for a long time. A lot of families began their careers there and retired out of there, and they've been a good, reliable entity, and electricity producer for a century.
You mentioned something interesting about maybe the possibility of solar. If consumers were to build a solar farm there, would that then keep it on the tax rolls?
Yeah, of course it would. Yes, it would. And I believe that, as we've been in discussions with executives from Consumers Energy, that they plan to do something with the property. They're not hopefully going to give it up. And so we'll see it continue to have a presence. And also, the impact on the loss of the revenue to Hampton Township, it will result in a reduction of about 17% of their annual revenue for their township.
Wow.
And operating costs. So, yeah, it would be nice if all of that property could stay on the tax rolls and hopefully repurposed and something that will be serving us long into the future.
Some of it will remain because there is a peaking plant there, right?
Yes, and that will remain for a while. I'm trying to think, Art. I probably should have reviewed it. I wasn't sure that would come up, but before the program today. But I believe it's 2025 or 2026. I think the peaking plants, until there's a further determination made as to the future.
Jim, as always, we just appreciate your time that you spend with us and bring us up to date on Bay County.
Well, I want to thank you, Art, for the tremendous job you do in disseminating information about what government is up to at the state, local, and federal levels, all of the important events that occur in the region. We appreciate you, Art. You're an icon in broadcasting, and it's always an honor for me to join on your program and share some of my thoughts with your listeners.
Jim, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Okay. Thank you, Art. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye now. Bay County Executive Jim Barcia, we thank him for his time, as always, this morning, and we look forward to chatting with him again. Take our last break and come back and close out, tell you what's ahead on Focus.
Come together and enjoy the greatest Beatles tribute concert ever. With Rain, a tribute to the Beatles. From Ed Sullivan to the Rooftop Concert, live. Rain.